It's likely that when you first started your business that maybe you created your own logo, chose a few colors and fonts, and then later on you may have bought some templates or hired someone to create a new logo and made a few extra templates yourself along the way, or created graphics on the fly. It's quite likely that you didn't actually do it all at once, that things have been sporadically added to your branding over time. And so this is why it can be so helpful to review your branding, go back over it and make sure that everything is cohesive and working well together, and finding those little holes where things aren't quite working right so you can fix them up and create that recognizable standout brand that you want. So in today's video, we're going to look at the importance of auditing your brand, and if you want a complete guide on how to actually do that, then if you check in the description box below, I have a link to a PDF guide that guides you through the process of auditing your brand so that you can make sure that it's on the right track. Visual branding is all about communication. So an important part of reviewing your branding is making sure that all the pieces are communicating the right message. If something is saying the wrong thing about your branding, then you're not going to attract the right kind of people, you're not going to position your brand the way you want, and you're going to confuse people. In fact, research has shown that 93% of communication is non-verbal. So much of what we communicate is beyond just words. It can be things like your body language, it can be things like images, it can be the mood and feeling. There's so many different things that communicate messages to us because it hits that subconscious mind. It's not just, you read something, okay, that's what the message says, but it starts to tap into your subconscious about how you associate things. And so that's why visual communication is really effective, because it taps into the subconscious so that you recognize things very fast. For example, what comes to mind when you instantly see a symbol of a red heart? You think of things like love and romance and maybe Valentine's Day. It starts to bring up all these different ideas and connections with that image. And so we need to think about how we're doing that with our branding. How we're using different visual elements to actually communicate a message about what our brand is all about. It includes things like the colors you're using, because colors evoke emotion and also inspire action. And then things like your typography, what's it saying about your branding? And all the different graphical elements, what are they actually communicating about your brand? What do people think and feel about your brand when they see it? A good trick when it comes to auditing your branding is to actually go and ask people. Show some people that don't actually know your business, your branding, and ask them what they instantly think about it. What's that first impression they're getting? And is it the right message? Because if it isn't, that's when you need to go back over it and see how you can make sure you're communicating that right message. Next, consistency is key when it comes to branding. It's so important that you have a consistent look. If you're constantly changing things up and creating different styles and different kinds of graphics all the time, or changing your logo every week, you're just confusing people, and it's not going to create something that's memorable. You want to really stick in people's minds, because we've got so much going on all the time that it's so easy to just forget about a business, that you've really got to start building up that consistency so people start to remember you, and then when they see your things they instantly recognize it. Just like the products that you buy in the supermarket, when they change their packaging it throws you off. So if you're constantly changing your branding, you're throwing people off. You want to create that consistency, and then it feels comforting too. They always know that that's you. And so while you might start to get bored with things, it's not the same for your customer, because they're not seeing it as often as you are. They actually need that reinforcement of seeing it over and over. And back to the mind, we actually recall visuals more easily than things like words. Images and colors stick in people's minds, so having that consistency is really going to make things stick. How often have you sat down at Google trying to think of the name of something, and you just have this visual image in your head of what you're trying to find, and you're like, what's it called again? Visuals really do stick. Visual marketing is also on the rise. Think about it. Everything we're seeing out there on the internet is visual. When the internet first started out, the technology wasn't as good, and so words were relied on a lot more. But the technology now is so good that visuals are such a huge part of marketing. Think about things like Instagram. It's all about the visuals. Or Pinterest, it's all about that great graphic. And video is becoming increasingly important and popular, and that's visual too. Visual marketing is becoming so important. So making sure that your visuals are doing the right job is really going to help. And considering you have a mere 50 milliseconds to make your first impression, you really want to be making the right kind of first impression. Don't want to miss that opportunity. You want to make sure that your branding is actually attracting people and is actually creating the right impression, so the right right people are going to just fall in love with your branding and are going to want to find out more about your business and what you do. You don't want to be losing people that potentially could be your best customers because you had poor visuals that didn't draw them in. Good, consistent branding also sets the tone for professionalism, trustworthiness, and expertise. When someone stumbles upon your website and sees that it's really well designed, it's all consistent, really well thought out, and a beautiful brand, then they're going to really think that this is a really professional business, that there's good expertise behind it, that it's well established, and that the person is taking it really seriously. And so they're going to take it more seriously. They're going to think, well, this is actual proper business, and I'm going to be able to get something of value from it. And so even if you are putting a lot of effort into it, but your branding is poor, then there's going to be this lack of trust. People are going to feel a little bit uncertain. So you want to make them feel reassured. You want to have a brand that looks really professional and is going to position your business to look like a high-end professional business. So don't put it off. Don't leave your branding looking a mess because you're losing potentially your best customers ever. You want to be sure that you're attracting those people that are just perfect for you because they instantly get that good impression. They know they can trust you and that they'll get value from you, and they'll remember you because you've created that memorability and being recognizable. And so it's going to go a long way in attracting the right kind of people to your business. So if you want to start auditing your brand and having a look at the holes and trying to see what's going wrong and what you can fix, don't forget to download that workbook and it will guide you through those steps. And if you want to learn more about branding, graphic design, web design, and creativity, then be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.